Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Sweden once again, and we're going to revisit one of my favourite Swedish craft breweries. So we're heading to Helsingborg this time and doing another beer from Brewski Microbrewery. So for this one we're going to have a taste of the Donkeyboy DIPA. So this comes in at 8% ABV and I think at a rating of 97 overall on Rate Beer when I checked it out earlier. But you know, I've got a lot of experience with this brewery and pretty much anything they produce is going to be at high quality. This brewery of course tend to focus a little bit more on IPAs and fruit beers and sour beers and things like this, and they do a pretty damn good job at it in my opinion. So if you're interested in Swedish craft beer, Brewski are definitely one of the ones that you want to check out, and their beers are becoming more widely available in places like England, Scotland, and I think further across Europe as well. I know in Slovenia you can get them, and I think in Estonia and places like that as well. So a very good Swedish craft brewery, and one that you definitely need to check out. This is about my 7th or 8th review I think from Brewski that I'm doing for you now. So really interested to try this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my review. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery quickly. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Brewski before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell a little bit about Brewski then. So Brewski were founded back in 2014 and they're based in Helsingborg in the northwestern corner of Skåne in the south of Sweden. But the founders of the company are Marcus Hjalmarsson, Johan Britsen, Alfred Olsson and Robin Skoglund, all of whom were largely inspired by the West Coast American craft beers. They travelled out there quite a lot and tried quite a few different things, and for a period they did actually have a partnership with All In Brewing as well, where All In were actually brewing in the Brewski brewery. But Marcus was originally associated with the High Nose brand of beers brewed at the Höganäs brewery, which is again is a little bit further up north than Helsingborg itself, and some of the beers are still brewed there, although all of the Brewski beers are now brewed in their own facility in Helsingborg, which is in the train yard, and I believe it's got a capacity of around 100,000 litres per month, although I think they may have expanded that in recent months because, as I said, their beers are getting further afield in Europe. But in 2016 they started their own festival, which is called Brewskival. They had over 40 different brewers at the first one. I was there just at the one in 2017, and I think there was probably about 50, maybe 60 brewers that were there, and it was a pretty damn awesome day. There was really good food, a nice band playing as well, and it was just really well organised and a very kind of easy going festival. But they also open up their brewery once a month for a bar which they call Barski, and that's something that I do still need to go over and check out at some point in the future. So yeah, a really good brewery. They're particularly known across Europe I think for their Faber series of beers that they do, the Mango Hallon Faber, the Mango Faber, Passion Faber, Persicco Faber, and they've got quite a few of these different kind of fruit beers, the sort of fruit IPAs, and the one that I've tried, the Passion Faber, was really nice, so I need to make sure and review some of the others for you at some point in the near future. But they're always releasing new things. They're a very prolific brewery. Like I told you, they tend to focus more on IPAs and double IPAs and things like this, but every so often you will get something like an Imperial Stout coming up. The Snout Juice I think was the last Imperial Stout that they released, and I have to admit I was impressed with that. I do wish they would brew a few more darker beers as well, but if they're producing IPAs like this, you know what, you can't really complain. But that's all you need to know about the brewery just now. As I said, the link to the brewery website and stuff is in the description below, and if you're particularly interested in Swedish craft beer, then Brewski are one that I do recommend you check out. So anyway, let's get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So on the side here it says Donkeyboy IPA. Being a donkey, we know that life is going to shovel dirt on you, and the trick to getting out of the well is to shake it off and take a step upwards. We believe that almost every adversity can be turned into a stepping stone. Well, not really, but we want to boost your spirits by telling you never to give up, so how about turning some of that shit into fertilizer and manure your life? The world has enough stupid donkeys, don't be one, drink responsibly. So yeah, as you can see, there's the donkey with it looks like a kind of Roman suit of armour that it has, actually holding some kind of hop cones. There you can see on the back, there's the Brewski symbol. He of course is on the bottle cap as well. And yeah, really nicely presented beer, best before 11th of January 2019. So it should be realised this one's an 8% double IPA, and like I told you at the start of the video, I think it has a rating of 97 or 98 on Rate Beer. But generally my experiences with Brewski have been very good. So without further ado, let's get it out and get on with the tasting then. So yeah, nice little bit of smoky opening there, and we'll get it out into the glass. And that's another thing, of course, that makes Brewski quite distinctive. They do have these little kind of stumpy bottles, which they're a little bit thinner, I think, than some of the other ones you're going to get, and that probably is due to kind of recyclability, I guess you would say. Sweden, of course, is a very green-conscious country, which is a very good thing. So as you can see, this beer's poured a really nice kind of hazy yellow golden colour. There's definitely some citra hop in here. When you open up this beer you get mangoes right away, so I'm pretty sure there's some citra in here. There may well be a little bit of mosaic, but the immediate thought that came into my head when I opened that beer up was mangoes. But as you can see, lovely kind of hazy golden yellow colour beer. There's a finger of about a half finger of a frothy white head. I'd say it's a perfect white head rather than being cream or anything like that. Some nice big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there, but overall it looks very, very nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. That smells really nice. I think there's definitely some citra in here. I think there's maybe a little bit of mosaic as well. I can definitely pick up a little bit of tangerine or orangey character, but definitely mangoes. There's a little bit of grapefruit underneath, maybe a wee bit of passion fruit as well. There's a very distinctive peachy character to this one also. Definitely peaches coming out of this. Mangoes, a little bit of tangerine orange like I said. I think there's citra and mosaic in this one. I'm guessing, of course, they don't tell you what hops are in the beer. I'm pretty certain there's citra, and I do suspect there's a little bit of mosaic in there too, but some passion fruits, which could be a bit of Simcoe. But it's got a really nice aroma, this. As I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. That's always half the experience when it comes to whiskey, sake and craft beer. But it does smell really nice. There's a little bit of floral aromaticity in there, but this one's not too punchy in terms of the floral aromaticity. Nice bit of lemongrassy character as well. And you can smell a wee bit of that kind of bready malt base. I don't know if there's some oaty character in this one. It is quite hazy, so I don't know if they will have used oats in the malt base, but it definitely has a little bit of that white bready character. And you can also pick up a little bit of a kind of biscuity note to it as well. So it's a really nice smelling beer, but that's what you tend to expect from Brewski. They're very kind of hop forward with their beers, and that is of course a very good thing. So yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma for yourself, but let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is the Donkeyboy Double IPA from Brewski Microbrewery up in Helsingborg in Sweden. Let's go! Yeah, that's a pretty damn good beer. You know, as I said, you wouldn't expect anything less from Brewski. That's really nice. I'll say straight up, the rating that it has on Rate Beer, absolutely agree with that. It's definitely a high 90s kind of rated beer, this one. This is really, really good. The question for me is, with Brewski, because I would say probably the best beer that I've had from them was the Skåne Double IPA. Is it better than that? I'm not quite sure. I guess which one you would prefer out of those two depends on what fruit flavours and stuff you like exactly. But I remember the Skåne Double IPA one was one that I tried, and it really kind of blew me away. That one was a really, really cracking beer, and this is very, very good as well. I'd love to actually do like a comparison between the two of them, so I might need to try and get because I think Conan is a regular beer in the Systembolaget range, but I'm not sure this one will be. But I would love to try a comparison of these two beers if I can get a hold of them. But this is very, very good. But yeah, really, really nice beer, this one. So yeah, in the middle of your palate then, where the malts come out, you've got a nice little bit of white bready character. There's a little bit of an almost wheaty smoothness on top of that. I'm not sure, I think there is I think there's a little bit of that oaty creaminess in the middle of your palate too, and as you come along the fold of your tongue, there's a little bit of a slightly biscuity, maybe even very slightly butterscotchy sweetness coming out of the beer. But it's a really, really nice one, this, and as I said, the rating that it has on Rate Beer, that 97, 98 that Scott definitely deserves it. Is it the best IPA that Brewski have produced? I don't know. I'm leaning towards saying that I prefer the Conan Double IPA, but this is certainly very good. As I said, it's all down to personal preference. Beer is subjective, of course, but Brewski, big thumbs up to them for this one. This is a really good double IPA. And the thing that's interesting about this as well, it does have a really nice kind of floral, hoppy character to it, and that comes out a lot more on the sides of your palate than you would think when you consider the aroma. This one doesn't have as big and punchy an aroma as I remember the Conan Double IPA having. But in the back corners of the palate, there's a teeny bit of earthiness, but mainly it's a nice, dark, slightly dank floral aromaticity. As you come further forward along the sides of your tongue, you start to get a little bit more of a kind of spicy, kind of floral character to it. It's really quite spicy on the front corners of the palate. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, you get a little bit of a lighter, almost lemongrassy note out of the beer. And yeah, of course, behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get some of these lovely kind of fruity esters coming out of the beer. So with this one, if you just go behind the front curve of the palate, you'll feel that little oily bubble, and I can feel there's a little bit of maybe a very slight grapefruit just underpinning it. I think it's definitely a bit of grapefruit there that's sitting just underpinning all the rest of the fruits. There's a wee bit of a kind of peachy note. On tasting this beer, I don't think I really don't think there's mosaic in this one, because it doesn't quite have the tangerine orangey notes for me. But I think there's definitely a bit of citra in there. There's a wee bit of a kind of slightly mango-y flavour coming out of that, and as you progress further into the flavour, there's actually quite a bit of gooseberry coming out, and I'm finding that slightly dark grapefruit. There's a bit of passion fruit, I think, as well. Though the grapefruit and kind of passion fruit mix that's there, you can feel that just sitting on the very kind of front part of your tongue, and some of the floral aromaticity just lies there as well. The malt doesn't really come out all that much in the aftertaste, but of course an IPA is definitely a little bit more, and especially a double IPA is a little bit more about the hops, of course, but it's a very, very good beer. There's a little bit of lychee and gooseberry coming out further into the aftertaste with this one, like I said. But yeah, this is a really quite nice beer. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again, so hopefully this makes it to the kind of the permanent range in Systembolaget as well. That's the only downside to Brewski, I guess, of course, is that they do some really, really nice beers, and they are, you know, they're that prolific that you get some really good ones that you just won't ever see again. But that said, the Conan Double IPA did go down so well that I'm pretty sure it's in the regular range at Systembolaget, so if you get the chance, check out that one. That's my favourite beer from them so far, but this one certainly is very, very close to that. I think it just has a slightly different kind of fruity character to it, to be honest. I think the Conan Double IPA from memory had a lot more kind of tropical fruit in the aftertaste, and a little bit more complexity to it, but this one for me certainly is really nice. There's almost a little bit of a kind of limey character coming out of this beer as well. I think lime is a good kind of descriptor for this one. Right in the aftertaste, you've seen how long it was since I took a sip. There's gooseberries and kind of lime in there, and like I said, you can feel that slightly darker grapefruit, passion fruit flavour just kind of underpinning it. But a very, very good beer, no doubt in my mind about that. But yeah, lovely stuff. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say it's mid-bodied. Carbonation's very smooth. It does have a little bit of a prickle to it. There's a nice oily character to this one. This one's a little bit more oily rather than creamy, and that was another thing when you compare it to the Conan. I remember the Conan being a little bit more creamy. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness to this. The malt base has a nice smoothness to it as well, but you do get a little hint of sweetness, I think, from the kind of oaty characters, and also from that biscuity, butterscotchy flavour that I was talking about. Some lovely juicy fruit characters. It's quite a dark fruity note as well, which does build a good bridge with the big hoppy bitterness that you have on the edge of your tongue too. The hoppy bitterness to this one is quite dank and quite floral, like I was saying, so there's a really, this whole beer kind of blends together very, very well in my mind. And in terms of I'm not sure if you can class this as a New England IPA. It's a hazy IPA more than anything, but this one to me is slightly oilier, more oily than some of the other ones that I've come across. But it's another fantastic beer from Brewski, so a big thumbs up to them, and I do hope I can try some more of their beers in the fairly near future, and I'm sure I will. So yeah, this one was the Donkeyboy Double IPA from Brewski up in Helsingborg in Skåne. in southern Sweden. So yeah, been really cool to review this one for you. As always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media, all the links and stuff are in the description below. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below, and let me know what your favourite beers from Brewski have been over the last little while, and I'm sure I will return to these guys in the very near future. But this one is another very good beer from them, and as I said, it's not too far away from the Conan Double IPA. So a big thumbs up to Brewski, and I'll see you soon with another Brewski review. Skål!